Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Dale McConnell, and I would like to welcome you today to our webinar, Transform Your Customer Experience with AI and People. Today, I'll be speaking with two experts in the field, Reshma Nigam and Surbhi Kaul, I'll get into their background more in just a few minutes, but for now, I'd like to remind you or tell you that we'd like this webinar to be as interactive as possible. We'll have time for formal Q&A that you can ask any questions you want at the end. But in the interim, if you'd like to ask any questions, you should have an option, a chat box, if you will, through the GoToWebinar application. And feel free to ask anything that you'd like, and we'll be sure to answer it. And now let's talk a little bit more about Surbhi and Reshma. Surbhi Kaul has over 20 years experience leading product design, development, and strategy at various Fortune 500 companies. She has built and led product engineering teams at technology icons including Google, YouTube, Netflix, and Cisco. Over the last decade, she has launched multiple successful and insightful products, many of which encompass AI and machine learning expertise. Currently, Surbhi is leading Juniper's customer experience charter focused on incorporating Juniper's experience-first networking initiatives into every aspect of the customer journey. She is focused on building omni-channel, engagements and ML-based proactive and predictive support capabilities. Reshma Nigam is an entrepreneur with a reputation for running successful organizations, bringing customer success to her clients. She has a background in marketing in Silicon Valley and has a passion for helping businesses grow by acquiring new clients through customer success programs. Reshma's worked at both large companies and startups in Silicon Valley, such as Amdahl, Frost & Sullivan, Rightworks, and others. She is active in the community in causes related to women and the disadvantaged. She's also on the Dean's Advisory List at San Jose State University, to which she is an alumna. Reshma and Surbhi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks. I'm really excited about today's discussions. While AI is certainly a hot topic, AI can empower but not completely execute customer success. And that's why we are here today. Today we are going to discuss how best to use AI to support customer success and how to combine that with human intelligence to optimize the entire customer experience. So I'm really excited to have my friend Surbhi here today, and we'll hear more about AI from her and a little bit about human intelligence from me. Thank you,
Reshma. Thank you for having me here. I'm super excited about our discussion. Thank you, Dale.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do, we'll return to the slides later on, but I'll just turn that off right now, and then we can just talk amongst the three of us. So let's start at the beginning. Surbhi and Reshma, let's define some terms so we're all on the same page. What to you, Surbhi? I'll go to you. What is customer success in your mind?
So the simplest way I like to describe customer success is exactly what the words say, customer's success. Your goal is to ensure you're helping the customer achieve success. So whatever the goals, the visions, the metrics that they're aiming to achieve, our job is to ensure that our customer success teams help the customers achieve those goals. And that can be done in many, many ways, as we will talk about today. But the uber goal is that you have to create win-win scenarios for the customer, and that in turn creates win-win for the organization or the business by ensuring you're decreasing churn, by ensuring you have the ability to upsell and cross-sell. So all of that journey where you're building these experiences for the customers to ensure their future success and their ability to execute well through your products, that's what customer success is all about.
Okay, it certainly seems to be gaining in popularity in terms of the number of articles that we're seeing and just the various things in the media. What's the history of customer success? How did it come about?
That's a great question, Dale. So one of the things we see that if you go 20 years ago, customer success was not a known name or a known discipline in the industry. And what happened is that there were SaaS companies coming up, software as a service, where you're serving your customers through the cloud and you're not really giving them a physical product or on-prem product. And that's where the concept of customer success came, that if I'm serving my customers through a cloud scenario, then how do I ensure that they're able to get the most value, they're able to onboard, they're able to adopt and get value out of all the features that I'm building in a SaaS product. And Salesforce is the place where most of the genesis of this thinking on how to decrease churn happened, because they were getting a lot of, and then their books written about it, they were getting a lot of new customers, but they were also churning out an equal amount, if not more, customers. So your total list of customers continues to be the same. Your pie is not increasing. And the way to increase is to stop the bleed of customers at the bottom of that funnel. And that is where customer success comes in, that it ensures that you're catching and holding the customer, giving them the love and care and feed to get value so that they don't churn out at the end of the year. So it came out of SaaS, but like you said, more recently, it has become a common phenomenon across every industry, where every product, every company, software, hardware, SaaS, is thinking how to ensure the success of their customer as well as the success of their products through an organization that's called customer success.
Okay, that's fantastic. Reshma, I'll turn to you now. What are some of the goals of customer success?
Just like Surbhi said, the key goal of customer success is to build loyalty so that you don't lose them after they've used your product. And it's very easy to lose clients, as you know. A little something may happen, a manager may come in, he's not interested in Salesforce, he's more interested in Pardot, because it's a software as a service, they'll start switching. But it's important to distinguish between the types of loyalty. Loyalty can be behavioral or attitudinal. Behavioral loyalty is a loyalty of habit or convenience. For example, let's say there are two drugstores near my home. This is a non-tech example. One locks up many of the goods to deter theft, and the other does not. And I shop at the one that doesn't because it saves me a lot of time when I stop in there. But suppose the one that locked the goods lowered their prices. At some point, I'd be motivated to switch, right? But that's just behavioral loyalty. And the other store could just as easily lower their prices, and I may be, maybe inclined to going back to them. Attitudinal loyalty is something deeper. Suppose the store that locked its goods greeted me, even by name. What if they had a loyalty program? What if they had a better selection of merchandise? What if they had what Surbhi was describing, a program to nurture me and to make sure that I keep coming back? In some, the totality of their offering could be superior or not, but I would stop there despite the locked merchandise, and that would be attitudinal loyalty.
So if I saw somebody with a Harley Davidson tattoo, that would really be attitudinal loyalty, I suppose.
Yes, that would be. It certainly is. But loyalty mostly is important because it reduces churn. And for SaaS firms, as she said, profitability is, as their customer, profitability really increases over time. It doesn't happen immediately. For non-SaaS firms, that there too, they need to reduce churn, but they're often focused on acquisition costs and repeat customer purchasing. So it sort of gets lost a little bit. But for all firms, customer success increases contract value and customer satisfaction. And that's something that people don't focus on because it's not so much of an expense company, because it's actually bringing more revenue, because you're aware of when your customer might switch, and you may want to be right in there, and you want to be there to in time for cross-selling and upselling, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, exactly. Okay. So it really achieves a great deal of benefits, both to the customer and to the firm. Surbhi, what are the keys to customer success?
Yeah, I think one of the things I want to harp upon a little more is what you just said, is that we have to keep that in mind, is that it brings success to both.
Yeah.
It's not just about customer, because what Reshma talked about, you're building that loyalty that will return and have the ROI, return on that investment to the company as well. Sometimes there is hesitation in corporates to invest in customer success because sometimes they cannot see the direct impact. And a lot of times the thinking is that the cross-sell upsell is being done by the sales team.
Mm-hmm.
But the sales teams rely on the customer success to have built that trust and that engagement with the customer. So when it comes time for renewal and for the ability to upsell, you already have established that. So some of the
real quick,
yes.
Because customer success is at least a cousin of customer service, and customer service has historically been looked at as a cost center. Is that part of the sort of the attitudinal hesitancy that some organizations may have? They view it as part of as a cost.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Most of the times, so there is, when you look at services, actually there are some services that you get paid for, right? So you have
Sure.
advanced services, premium services that you're getting paid for, so you can run your P&L. For customer success, a lot of times it's not something that the customer is paying for. You have to incorporate that cost. In SaaS, it's a little easier because your support, your service, your customer success, all can be incorporated in your, annual pricing or your premium pricing, whatever. Yeah, in your subscription price. But in other parts of the business, right, when you're selling software on-prem or hardware on-prem, you're not really recovering that cost of customer success directly from the customer. You are making that investment with the hope that it'll get paid at the end of that journey that you're having with the customer. So a lot of times the hesitation from companies is because of that. And the way I like to position it, Reshma, so for example, when you are talking to your customers, I think it's very important to show them the light at the end of that tunnel to say that by investing here, you're actually able to recover so much. And sometimes you have to draw that correlation out in that journey to help leaders of companies understand that. And I had to do that at Juniper as well. So.
Yes, I'm sure. No, for example, my companies are a lot smaller than Juniper, but often they will drift away. They will say, I don't need to do this. And they'll falling, sales up. And that's where we come in and we try and do it. And once we start talking about AI, I'll give you some more examples of how AI has helped us.
Absolutely.
Well, let's do that then, Reshma. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's turn to AI. Surbhi, can you talk a little bit about your experience with AI and then and customer success, and Reshma can do the same.
Yeah, so we have been utilizing machine learning and AI capabilities in the whole customer journey for a long time. Most of the large companies have been looking at how do you build automation, self-service capabilities, faster efficiencies for customer ticket resolutions, issues resolution, finding root cause faster. So we have been doing that. But as you all know, with generative AI, things have been set ablaze, where what we were hoping to achieve over the next few years, we are able to achieve much faster now. Mm-hmm. And customer experience is one place where I see immense impact of generative AI in building internal efficiencies as well as efficiencies for the customer. And if I talk specifically about customer success, the area of customer success, we look at customers in a very tiered manner where we're looking at the top of the pyramid of your focus customer, where you may have dedicated customer success managers. And then you have your mid-tier customers where you might have shared, where each customer service manager might have 10 plus or 10, 20 accounts, whatever. I mean, different companies. I was just having a conversation with HubSpot the other day where each CSM has more than 1,000 customers. But so it's different for different companies. And then if I look at the bottom tier or the long tail, there are a lot of small customers where you cannot really have dedicated CSMs. And that's where the digitized strategy comes into play. And that's where generative AI or machine learning capabilities can really help you engage with your customers more meaningfully and in a personalized manner, what Reshma just talked about in building loyalty. You're talking to them by knowing where they are in the customer journey. Earlier, that was not possible because it had to be done manually. Now, with all the tools, the data, and the ability to generate content, we can really meaningfully meet them in a personalized manner, even for that long tail customers. So your ability to utilize machine learning and AI capabilities to have a bigger impact in your customer success organization has been opened, the doors have opened through generative AI.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I know that you shared a model with me that basically there's sort of maybe 3 tiers of customer success interaction. And you alluded to them here, but there's high touch, medium touch, and tech touch. And obviously that long tail that you mentioned about AI and tech touch is really applicable. And then for the others where there are still humans involved, AI can be an enabler to make their interactions more powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Reshma, did you want to share an example?
I wanted to say I love the approach Reshma brings to this conversation. So Reshma, yes, over to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to share some of the examples that we've had personally experienced. We had a wellness client, and they wanted to go AI. They didn't want a large team that was based in our facility in Manila. And so we did that. We re-employed the others, deployed the others on other projects. And then suddenly they saw that their sales had gone down because it was only AI based. And this is a wellness program. You know, they relied on a human touch, somebody encouraging you, somebody calling you once a week to see how you were doing. So then what happened is that, and the company was growing, they couldn't afford to just keep growing a customer service base. So that's when they decided that the data would be collected through AI, and the little human touch that was lacking would be incorporated also. And suddenly sales started going up, and it actually went up more than before. So because AI was now giving them the data, and I just wanted Surbhi to talk to the audience about how data is important in AI, and it may give people some ideas on how to use data. Surbhi, if you talked about how you're using it, because my business totally relies on the data that I get from the AI implementation that my clients have had.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Reshma, and I wanted to actually commend what you're saying, that a lot of times companies are thinking, okay, AI will solve all my problems and I don't need CSM, but you do need that human touch. And the way I look at it, AI and generative AI capabilities are there to enhance and make your customer success managers more efficient in getting the data, exactly what you're talking about. So we should not look, a lot of times people question me whether generative AI is going to take over our jobs. And I want us to all know that generative AI or AI capabilities should be looked upon as an enhancer and not necessarily as somebody that's going to replace something. So talking about data, your question is very valid, and this is something that we struggle with, most of the companies struggle with. For us to be able to build good machine learning models, we need good data. And for us to know where the customer is in their journey. So I do like to talk about the customer journeys which starts even before a customer becomes your customer. They're coming to your websites, they're trying to understand your products, maybe doing competitive analysis. Then they go through the sales motion. Once that PO is signed and they get your product, now you have the ability to engage with them. But you start gathering that data from day one, from the first time they engage with your websites. And by the time they become your customer, you have substantial data on what they have looked for, what are the commitments made by sales team, what is their purchase pattern, etc. So by the time it comes to a customer success manager, having all this data available is very critical, because now you're building your model or insights based on all this data, and then you continue to grow that data with how they're engaging with the product, what are the features they're using, what are the features they've not been able to open or be able to use. And now you're giving all those insights to the customer success manager to know, maybe this is where we can grow, and maybe this is where we need to coach and ensure that the customer is getting more value because they have not opened these features. And maybe these are some of the new key things where we can help the customer grow and get realized value. So I feel that data is extremely important. So I try and influence leadership to make sure you invest in gathering the data in one place, because a lot of companies have that data in silos. Sales team has their own, marketing team has their own set of data, and then support tickets have their own. You have to marry all that data to build that customer 360. And then you know that very well, because that's the name of your company. But you have to, internally, I call it a C360. What we have built here internally at Juniper is having that holistic understanding of the customer, all the way from the beginning when they engage to the end where they're seeing tickets or potential escalations. And then all of this data can give really meaningful information to the CSM. So coming back to that HubSpot example, if you have like 1,000 customers that you have to manage, you cannot manage all of them. Like, you cannot know which ones to go to. But the data, underlying data, can tell you these few could see escalations because they have X number of tickets open right now. And so you know exactly where to go focus. So you have enhanced and enabled your CSM, Customer Success Manager, to be really effective and efficient in their jobs.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Okay. Yeah, so fantastic. So Reshma, I introduced you as the CEO and founder of My Customer 360. Surbhi just alluded to your firm. Why don't you tell us just a little bit more about what My Customer 360 is all about?
So My Customer 360 is a customer service management company, and it's headquartered in Silicon Valley. And we help companies with customer service, onboarding, customer success, and as much of the customer experience as we can, being an outsourcing company. And we do this offshore. We have our staff in the Philippines. We have some in India because the technical knowledge in India is superior, but the Philippines is excellent for English proficiency. They're highly trained to meet the needs of our clients, and they're very comfortable with the American way of interaction. And what our company does is it allows us to help 2 different types of clients in a very proficient and cost-effective way. For those who do have a customer service organization in place, we act as a force multiplier. We strengthen their capabilities. They don't have to add the staff, we do. And of course, we rely heavily on AI and AI-driven data. We also partner with companies that will develop AI software for you so that we could be the human interaction with for a company. And for those clients that do not have a customer service organization in place, for them we provide an out-of-box solution. That's where we partner with our AI partners and put together a whole team for them and a whole process. We designed the process around this. And we've been in business for a long time. Our primary business was lead generation. It still is. The primary company, Markable Solutions, does lead generation. And what we realized is that we were generating leads, we were nurturing them, we were passing them on to sales. Sales was closing some percentage of it in the companies that we had contracts with. But after that, they were sort of neglecting it and nothing was happening. And so we brought in our skills of calling and nurturing prospects into calling and nurturing your clients. Mm-hmm. And that is the way we crossed that chasm and moved from prospects to customers. Of course, we still have our lead gen business, and it's the bread and butter of the company. But this is the more exciting thing, and a lot of interest is in this now.
No, certainly. It's as we've been talking about today, and based on the attendance at today's webinar, it certainly is a popular. Customer success and AI together are like peanut butter and jelly. It's just everyone loves both.
Yeah.
Reshma, can you be a little bit more detailed about if someone was interested in starting, a customer success program or turbocharging their existing customer success program with My Customer 360, how would they go about that?
We found that the best way to begin with a new client is to go with our Quick Start program. And this is designed to offer clients a rapid time to benefit without making a very large initial investment. And essentially, we want to be able to quickly prove to clients our ability to add value. And these programs will typically last about 45 days. And it includes things like goal setting, training, initial customer outreach, engagement, and then an assessment period with the option of continuation or expansion after that, whatever they feel. But this gives them a very good clue into what's going on with them. And more than anything else, the analysis that we bring and the data that we've generated in terms of happiness of their clients and what they really need, how much AI they need, how much human interaction they need. We just put it all together, and then it's up to them whether they continue with us or not. Obviously, most of them do continue with us, and this is our this allows them to experience us a little bit.
Sure, it's like a test drive.
It's a test drive, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, thank you guys so much. Let me go ahead and Surbhi and Reshma, I so much appreciate your participation and your expertise today. Would any of you, before I go through the recap of what we talked about, is there any other comments that either of you would like to make?
I think we talked about everything AI and customer success and how the two can be married. I would just say that, a lot of times companies as well as customers that you might have, Reshma, are concerned about, the challenges that we also need about generative AI. It's not all, all good. And I would just caution us that, how we use that AI and capabilities, and that is something we can talk about if there is Q&A around it. But there are things to be cautious about, and there are things that we should be aware on how to build that trust and continue to have the trust, because customers do get concerned about their data being shared or being, leaked inappropriately. So we can talk about that later, but let's do the recap.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we get that all the time also. So I know what you're talking about. We want to be very, very clear about privacy. And with generative AI, that is a danger, right?
Yeah, there can be a concern. So you have to ensure that you are training the models in a way that keeps your customer data safe. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again, both, very much. So just in summary, we defined what customer success is. We looked at its oranges. No, we looked at its origins. We looked at its goals and the keys to achieving those. We also talked quite a bit about how AI and customer success can be married to really form a very powerful combination. We talked about My Customer 360 and how they use AI, and then actually a practical application of that with their Quick Start program. And again, to the audience, thank you so much for your attending. And now what we'd like to do is open it up for some questions. And we have received some earlier on, so I'll start with those first, and then we'll see if we got a couple here, and then we'll see if any others come in. So the first question is for Surbhi. Surbhi, can you tell us a little bit some examples maybe about Juniper's experience with AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So Juniper has been leading the charter of AI and networking, and we have deployed several solutions within our product, primarily the Mist Cloud and Mist capabilities of assurance, where we are moving from a very reactive model. Earlier, if you look at 10 years ago, the model of support is very reactive, where there's an anomaly or outage that happens and the customer makes a call, and then you start troubleshooting, gathering data, and figuring out what could have gone wrong. We have moved from there to a more proactive and preemptive world, where we are trying to ensure that we have observability of the customer environment to be able to detect anomalies sooner and proactively start helping the customer even before they make the call, or tell them what action they need to take if there is an anomaly or a customer outage or a network outage. And from there, the hope and aim is that we become very preemptive, where before the outage could happen or before the anomaly could happen, we have models that predict an outage and that tell us how to preempt it to make sure that the customers don't even see the outage. So the best customer service is where your customer never needs to call you. You're taking care of their needs and their outages or their concerns as and before they happen. So that's how we have been looking at it at Juniper. And with generative AI, we are looking at a lot more internal efficiencies, because just like I was saying, because there could be concern with your customers using your customers' data to build models where the data may not be protected or may not adhere to the privacy concerns. You want to build based on generative AI internal efficiencies first. And it could be with your marketing teams building collateral, or your support teams having to build knowledge articles. All of that can be automated to quite a large extent using generative AI. So we are looking at all those capabilities.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you so much. Reshma, another question has come in. They're interested more in the Quick Start program. How much does it cost?
Dale, the Quick Start program, like I said, is a 45-day program, and it begins at $7,000, which is the bottom of the thing. And it can go up depending on the size of the company and what they're looking for and how much data they have and how many customers they have mostly.
That's a very good deal, Reshma. I would take it.
Entryway. Yes, please.
I'll call you after this, Surbhi, and we can talk.
Yes.
Another question on My Customer 360. Reshma, you may have mentioned this. I'm not sure, but the question is, do you serve just tech clients?
No, Dale. We serve a lot of healthcare clients. We have a dental company we are working with. And of course, wellness. Wellness is a big thing. But yes, tech is a big part of our business.
Okay, fantastic.
Because I think they have very quickly realized the value of customer service and customer success, sorry. And they want the whole business of the loyalty, the nurturing, and then, of course, conversion, and very careful about having to convert. So somebody's contract is expiring, they're very keen that we keep in touch and we get paid based on, how many conversions we are able to get at that point.
Fantastic. Well, again, Reshma and Surbhi, thank you so much for your time today. And to the audience, thank you as well for your time and your interest in the topic. We hope you found the webinar very helpful. The next steps is we will be sending to each of you a recording of the webinar and also the slides, such as they were. There was just a few slides for this particular webinar, but we'll send those to you along with some information about the Quick Start program. And then we'll be following up with you to see if we can help you in your customer success endeavors. So until then, thank you again so much for your attendance today, and we look forward to speaking with you in the future. Have a great week, you guys.
Surbhi, I hope to do this in a few years when your AI is really